Hello, Carl Groves. Thank you for being on the fireside chat. Haven't talked to you. When was the last time I saw you? Was that was at CSUN last year?
Was it, or was it because you didn't come to
Ah,
the, did you come to the Accessibility Club in, you went to the one in Amsterdam,
I went to
not
the one
in
in
Wilkesburg.
Amsterdam. Yeah, I saw
Yeah, so
you
it was
there.
CSUN. Yeah, it
I've
was
got
CSUN.
some nice pictures of you and I.
Good.
Yeah, I'll share them at a suitable point with you. Um, yeah. So I haven't seen you for an age, but we have. Well, work for the same companies, work for, different companies, but, you know, we've always had a similar, can I say that we have a similar view when it comes to accessibility and um, how it can be done right and the importance of the mechanics of accessibility, I think, in particular. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I've always enjoyed your work, your output. The only thing I would say, Carl, is that I find some of your articles, because you write them in sometimes in a marketing style, and I've never really been like, you'll read. I don't like, I'm not saying this is you now, but I don't like articles where from other companies that start off with a kernel of truth and then just turn it into a reason,
Sales pitch.
yeah, sales pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done it and I don't want to do it. I mean, if you're going to convey, not again, I'm not talking about you, but if what is to convey is to give information, and I think that's vital to our industry and vital to our communities, be able to share the techniques that make stuff more accessible. Yeah, that's what I
I
do.
try to avoid that. So I've tried to avoid that. But call me out on it if I
Oh,
don't. I mean,
I
I
don't
always
know.
do. I always do have a little byline in there that says, "Hey, if you need help with this stuff, give me a
Yeah,
shout." But I try to avoid doing it, because I actually follow your lead a lot with that because for years you've been doing, I don't know, a brief note on X, and it's
yeah,
just sort of a brain dump, right? And it's a brain dump on a specific topic, and you sort of put it out there, and then you're done.
yeah,
And I've kind of been following that sort of same. That's my approach to talks, and that's my approach to writing. Is basically like the sales pitch is Carl Groves knows what the hell he's talking about. We should reach out to him for more
yeah.
information. You know what I mean? So it's always been that kind of thing where it's been, I want to share a bunch of knowledge, and then
Well,
people will be
yeah,
like,
maybe I just haven't I've just been turned off by you, and I haven't bothered to look at the things. Sorry.
yeah, but do it. Call me
I
out,
will.
man.
I will revisit. Yeah, I will revisit. But yeah, and again, it's what I was pointing out was a general thing that
Yeah.
there is some of the accessory companies tend to write these things that are just market, and I'm sure that things have got a lot worse since people started using AI to write their shit. Um, I know that you have a well. From what I understand, or from what I've seen, is that you have a more optimistic view than others about accessibility and AI. Can you
Yeah, I do.
elucidate a bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, well, there is the whole overall idea of AI itself, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for the world, that's that's a different discussion. When it comes to accessibility, I think that we are at a point where you can get a lot of efficiency out of it. In other words, my feeling on AI is very similar to my feeling on automatic testing, if you
Yeah,
think about it, which is that it's a tool that if it's well placed in what you're doing, if you're using it intelligently, it's awesome. And that just comes from, and that's just my perspective on digital accessibility, in terms of what we do for a living.
yeah,
If we're talking about AI and other accessibility related stuff, you can't deny how amazing AI is now and will be in the future in terms of bridging the gaps of, if you remember, I mean, first, for instance, I'm looking at the automatic captions that we have now because I'm older, my hearing is not as great as it used to be, and
Yeah.
especially people with accents. I turn this on when someone has an accent. And if you've been using this for any length of time, you realize that it's gone from complete garbage to pretty awesome. You know what I mean? Same thing
Yeah,
goes,
yeah, I
and
mean,
same thing goes for image recognition, right? Like
yeah.
AI image recognition used to be total crap, and now it's pretty darn good. So I think we're getting to a point where it's a extremely useful tool. Um,
I'm not denying that it's useful, but I don't what I am not convinced of yet is it's useful for doing automated testing of accessibility. I haven't seen anything as yet. Like I
yeah.
understand the utility of it for things like, well, even for captioning. I mean, I've been making use of several third-party online. I've been paying good money to use these things. I found one now which is Turbo something. What's it called? Turbo Scribe, which is better than what was before. Um, but it still does some, like
Yeah.
I still have to go through and read every line and
Hmm.
ensure, which I just did. I mean, I'm sure there's some things that were in there. I just did with Matt's talk, which I just released today.
Yeah.
But it comes up with like I gave an example. I tweeted out, tooted, whatever the word is. Socialized a mistake that I found in the captioning that I was that I was doing, and instead of HTML which I understand is an old acronym. Um, it said Haitian Mosley, which was sort of interesting because I don't know if you're aware of Edward. Was it Oswald Mosley or Edward? He was a fascist politician from the early days. He's like sort of like proto Nigel Farage from the UK, and he talked
Yeah.
about the rivers of blood being, the running through the streets of the UK. So anyway, that it was sort of triggered me a little bit when I saw the Haitian Mosley, but
Yeah, so
also,
AI is just it's a tool. Like it's not going to replace a skill, just like an automatic testing tool. It's not going to be, it's at least not for years now, not going to replace anything. It's not, and I actually have seen companies that have used like ChatGPT for whatever reason to do audits, and they're horrible, right?
yeah,
And so to the extent that you're using something intelligently, that you know what you're doing, and then you're going to be involved in ensuring its quality, then sure, but not a chance. If somebody says to me that they're doing AI audits, I'm like, yeah, that's garbage, and you
yeah.
should run fast, you know. Uh,
Have you? I don't know, but we know that our compadres at DQ have been investing heavily in AI and Axe
mhm.
AI and etc. And they made that wild claim, which was rightly called out that it was going to be 100% testing, which yeah, the
Yeah, you're
dream.
not. You know,
Um,
they you got to for those. I mean, that's the other thing is like a large language model like Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. Like that's not going to do any
yeah,
useful testing, right? But something like what DQ is doing, they're not going to get to 100% with it, but they are actually training a model, right? And
yep,
they're taking failure information, they're taking the input that the user puts into it, and they're using it to train a model that's going to continuously feed. And at that point, it's a data problem, right? And so what they're trying to solve by crowdsourcing this is the same thing that like the that is happening with captchas. Like for captchas for a very long time, where we're like, find the bike on the street, find the crosswalk, find the
Yeah,
buses, right? They're using that to train vision models for automatic driving cars.
right.
And you see right now, you still see instances where automatic self-driving cars from Waymo are still getting tripped up. You know what I mean? Like, and so now you can understand the scale of what we're looking at in terms of automatic testing is that DQ has no chance in hell of ever getting the same amount of data that captchas are
Yeah,
for self-driving cars. I mean, it's a different problem space where a self-driving car has like no room for error. Like that's a public safety issue,
yeah,
whereas DQ's got they got a much smaller burden of the accuracy. But that's kind of what's happening is they're using that to to scale this data problem that's really really hard. Um, and that kind of thing does have promise in the future, but are they going to get to 100%? Not a chance. I mean, look at automatic captioning.
yeah,
And because you were just talking about automatic captioning, what is that, 80%? You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's helpful. The reason why I hadn't been using it, I was just using the YouTube and then pulling them down. But um, then somebody came along and said to me, "Oh, it would be helpful if you had the speaker names."
Yeah.
So that was difficult. That adds another layer of complexity to it, and also another layer of possible failures. But with this, it sounds like and for 10% off, you can use Turbo, whatever it is, Scribe or whatever.
Right.
No, I mean, but that's what I started, and I've found that is actually because what I want and what we all want is things that are going to increase our productivity and do the shit that we don't want to do. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that most of the time we still have to do the shit because it requires our judgment and expertise and understanding. Uh,
And it's really not going to bridge the expertise gap too
no,
much. You know what I mean? In other words, I believe AI based testing and stuff like that is going to be an efficiency boost for somebody like you and me, but it's not going to make someone who doesn't know as much as us as good as us.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's still, yeah. That's the thing I always find is that in order to judge the veracity of any statement made by AI, you need to have the experience and understanding of the subject matter. And if you have that, then you don't really need the AI to do it in the first place. But it's an interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I use AI, not a huge amount, but I mean, I've used it to develop, sort of proofs concepts for internal processes. To like the processes that we use. So, but essentially, just building. I get it to build Python scripts for me that I can't do because I'm shit at coding. Always have been, always will do. I'm not unlike yourself and others that I know, like Pat and Joe Lamy, man, even and Ian, and they know how to code. I don't. I can code, but nothing
Not
beyond.
like them. Yeah.
Yeah, not like them, not the most basic, but so it's helpful in that way. But it ends up it always makes a shitty thing, but at least it does make a thing that I can say to others. This is what I want. This is what I want to achieve. So anyway, let's go to the Rose Gallery, Carl, because it's 20 minutes in and we haven't even looked at the gallery yet. So let me share my screen. That was, oh, that's, sorry, free advertisement for Turbo. got in turbo squid all the time, but it's not. Um, hold on. Now, there we go. Okay, we've got the Rose Gallery, and I change it up for each person. Um, so I've got a number of people I think that you may know or not know, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So who's top left?
Top left?
Yeah, top the very here.
Uh, the face is David Swallow.
Yes, yeah. The body is Joe Humbert. He's wearing. I made this series of shirts, and this is for Waco one whatever 4.7 focus visible, and the show thyself demon. Dave's obviously not a demon, but that's just to show an example of focus being
Focus
visible.
visible.
But
Okay.
yeah, the show thyself demon because when I was at TPG, we used to have. You used to have the daily or meetings or and so there used to be loads of people there, um, people such as Swallow or whoever, but it was usually someone I knew who didn't turn their camera on. I used to shout, "Show thyself, demon!" So it was that was the Swallow. All right, so going, yeah. I mean, I'm actually Dave's coming to visit my manor next Friday.
Oh yeah?
So yeah, he's going to stay the night, and then he's doing a park run. But I'm going straight to the browser next weekend, which I'm looking forward to. And Adrian is flying in, international jet setter that he is. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing Adrian. So who's this handsome
Dylan Barrel.
chap? Dylan Barrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny enough because the I've heard people refer to him as Dylan and
Uh-huh.
Daryl and Dwayne. Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Yeah, Dwayne Barrell. I mean, I never know. Obviously it is Dylan. So it's obviously someone you know, someone you have you ever worked directly with Dylan?
Yeah, I worked with him at DQ long, 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 long time ago.
And I'm sure you formed a strong and everlasting bond.
Yes. Yes. One that persists to this day.
And who's next? Who's this handsome chap?
That is Patrick Lauka, and I think I was there when that picture was taken.
Oh, you
Was that
may have been.
were
No, I
we?
don't think you were. This was actually when we on our trip to Dunnington, and
Oh, okay. I thought that was when we were in Ireland.
no, no, it's ageless. I mean, he just
He just continuously has that hat on, I guess.
yeah. That's it. I have the honor and the pleasure of working closely with Pat and also being his manager. But I he is now facilitating the WCAG Backlog 2.2 Task Force, which
Wow.
is a subgroup of the Accessibility Guidelines Working Group at W3C. And what they're doing is updating the thousands of documents that, the non-normative WCAG 2.2 documents, the techniques, the failures, etc., all of those things, the understanding docs. And I'm just continually impressed by the. I think it's important work because even though yes, we are moving to three at some point, it's the boots on the ground as far as the guidelines are concerned is 2.2 at the moment. Plus, the regional variations that are brought in, the EAA,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's vital work. And he's like, some of this documentation, it had stuff like examples of applets in it. I mean, who fucking used,
Server-side image maps and
yeah, it talks
yeah.
about XHTML. So
Yeah.
anyway, So he's doing great work and
I
really,
have I've been a Patrick Lauka fan forever. So
yeah,
when I first became a web developer, I would post on Usenet news groups, which a lot of people watching this have no clue what the hell those things are anyway. But Usenet news groups were like before bulletin boards were a big thing
yep,
and all that, and before mailing lists were a big thing. And so Patrick. Who else? David Dorward. Lots of people were on these Usenet news groups and knew a lot more about this stuff than I did, and I learned a ton from him. And the other thing I learned, and the other thing that I took away from my interactions with people like Patrick and David Dorward and those guys was just to think about accessibility in the first place because I had no idea.
yeah,
I was posting on these things as a guy who was writing websites, not somebody who gave a crap about accessibility. I didn't know about it. And so you could say that Patrick and David Dorward and other people whose names I'm forgetting right now because it was 20 something
yeah.
me on this accessibility journey.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember that when I first developed the WebXSC toolbar, and when I was at Vision Australia, this was like 2004, and I was in Australia, and I spoke to Pat because he at the time was had a Firefox extension that supported Long Desk. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that was back in the day, and so I remember talking to him about developing a Firefox version of the what. I can't remember what happened. All water under the bridge. But yeah, so I get to work close with him. He's also a good friend of mine, and we spend we meet up um, on a fairly a regular cadence, but yeah, every couple of months or every 6 months at least. Okay. Um, and he knows his shit,
He
which is
does.
always, yeah, always something that I appreciate and respect in an individual. Talking to people that know their shit, who is next?
Sharon Rush.
Sharon Rush. I'm sure this is someone you're familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. Sharon runs the Nobility nonprofit. They run a conference every year called Access U, which I've done for the past 10, 11 years or something like that.
I have never been, and
It's
I'm
cool.
unlikely.
It's
Yeah.
cool, and it's a great excuse to get awesome barbecue in Austin as well while you're there. Sharon's just
I'm sure it'll be a great, I know, conference and other people. I think that Henny's been and etc. But
yep.
unfortunately, yeah, stateside travel is not on my agenda for the moment.
Yeah, I
But
don't blame you.
which brings us along to this last person. God,
That's such a great picture. That's
yeah, I really. This was well. The picture is because it's sort of like I munged it in order to get it into the same hole, so it looks a bit longer and looks a bit elongated. But you know who it is.
yeah.
It's
Mike Bossiello, our old
yeah,
boss.
yeah, Mike Paciello, and like I was speaking to Mike or chatting to him the other day, and he he was saying that he's going to see some this year, but it was likely going to be his last, which is a shame because I would have really liked to have been there. I mean, as I talked, who was I talking? I was talking to someone about it, but I was just surprised. I've been surprised at the vitriol or the negativity that people have viewed Mike with since he started working for Audio Eye.
Well, you know, I'm not surprised. Um, I
What?
mean, I'm not saying I feel the same way. I have mixed feelings about him, and I don't think that it's fair to judge a whole person by anything other than their whole actions, right? So in
Yeah,
other words, I have serious, deep negative feelings about his change to moving to audio eye. And that's something that I've discussed with him as well.
yeah.
But I don't think that that diminishes who he is and the respect he deserves
No, no,
for all that.
exactly, exactly. I mean, I understand because I have, a close personal friendship with him, and he has done. I wouldn't be where I am today without Mike.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
without Mike, without Debs, and without Charlie being supportive of me through many years.
right. And
So
same for me, really. I mean, Mike was extremely he was a so before I had before I joined TPG, Mike and I had long conversations about two things. One was I was concerned about personality clashes.
what
I'm
a TPG.
Yeah, frankly, I was concerned about me and you having personality clashes because we both have pretty strong opinions and strong personalities. And the second thing I was concerned about is I had already started working on um,
Tenant.
Tenon at the time, and I was like, I want to continue working on this. I don't want you to have any ownership over it unless you want to work out some sort of deal, et cetera, et cetera. And he was cool and he was awesome and he was supportive. So, like you, he was very supportive of me. He was supportive after I left. He was
Yeah,
supportive through the whole time period of uh, acquisitions because there was more people wanting to acquire Tenon than just level access at the time, and there was
yeah.
all and Mike was amazing. So do I have bad feelings about the audio eye thing? Absolutely. They sued me, you know what I mean? Like
Oh, they sued you as well, did they? I didn't
yeah,
realize.
they sued me. My lawyer encouraged me not to take any of that stuff public, unlike what they sued me before they sued Adrian.
Right.
Um, their lawsuit got tossed. They're a bunch of jackasses. But so I have hard feelings about that, but I don't have
Yeah,
hard feelings about Mike as a whole. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Good, good. Because yeah, I did. I mean, it just I think that he went to work with him because he thought he could make a positive difference. Um,
Yeah.
Also, he needed healthcare, which we for the reality, like I mean, we all had worked shitty jobs in the past because we needed, we lived the reality of it.
Well, and
Um,
like you said, Mike always wants to do things like
yeah,
that. Like he always wants to uh, be the bridge builder and
yes.
this, and so no, like I said, I don't like that he's
Well, it's not something I would do myself,
right,
but I don't hold it against him, and I would never turn my back on him because of it. I
right.
mean, he hasn't killed somebody, he doesn't. He's not a pedo. I mean, well, hopefully. Um, so yeah, so that's Mike. I mean, Mike's going to come on and chat to me at some point, so I'll look forward to that.
Good.
Uh, who is the next person? Do you know this guy?
I do. I've
Yeah,
known Mark for a long time.
yeah.
Well,
I
actually,
thought,
I mean, he's been involved in accessibility for a long. Mark Haunschild, I think is
yep.
my German pronunciation sucks. So if Mark watches this and I butchers his name, I completely apologize. Now, did you take that one at the Accessibility Club
Yes,
yeah,
yes, I
in
did.
Amsterdam? Mark's
Yes.
a great guy, super, super nice, super,
Yeah,
super.
really nice guy. And I thought that because I'm sure these being involved in the other accessory clubs as well that are being held. Hey, talking about accessibility clubs, there's one in Würzburg in
Würzburg, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
and
I'm doing a
Pat was
work.
threatening to go because his dad lives in Würzburg.
Who's that?
So
Who's going?
Patrick was
Oh,
threatening to go.
awesome.
So encourage him because I think he'll be good. Give a good talk, whatever if you have the opportunity, or just attend. So anyway, yeah. So Mark, is it Mark or Marcus?
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met well, I've known Mark and we met when at the Access Club, which I quite enjoyed that event. Very low key, but it was good. Who is the person next to Mark?
William Gregory.
Yes. I
Yeah.
thought you might recognize him despite the fact that I've only got half his head.
I need that t-shirt, man.
Sorry?
I need that t-shirt.
Well, yeah, I'll send you one. I can, as part of your gift package or honorarium for coming on fireside chat, you get a free item. So if you want me to send you one of those shirts, what color, size, etc., you tell me and I'll do it.
I love it. I love that shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, so Billy Gregory, you and Billy have had a long and tumultuous affair.
I
Well,
love Billy.
friendship.
Yeah. I
Uh,
wouldn't say it's tumultuous.
well, I said tumultuous because it sounds like it sounds exciting. Um, so it is, well, you're known, you and Billy are known by some for the Viking the Lumberjack series that happened which is that is from that T-shirt is
Yeah.
those times. Um, that was years ago though, wasn't it? It was like
It was a
10.
long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you've resurrected it on occasion. Any plans to get together again?
We've been talking about it, but it never materializes, and especially since um, we don't. But it was great when it was a TPG because we also did all the training for TPG, so we would
Yep,
always be around each other,
yep,
and so we could always do it. But now there's no opportunities for us to do any of that stuff because we'd have to pay on our own dime to go be with each other and all that sort of stuff, and we got other stuff to do. So I think it's effectively dead, although I've been trying to get him to come with me to some of the stuff like the Accessibility Club, for instance, where we could do
yep.
talks together and stuff. Because I think it was always good when we did talks together. Like the videos were fun, but doing the
The
talks
talks,
together
yeah.
was even better.
Did you? I saw Billy talk at CSUN last year, 2024. Was it 2025? I can't remember. He turned up at CSUN. I think it was this year, or no, last year. And yeah, I think that the two of you are better together. Not that to be honest, I haven't seen you talk. I mean, I'm sure that you're a good um, teacher and talker, but yeah, I look forward to having the opportunity. But honestly, I don't tend to see many people talk because I usually go to my room during conferences. But
Yeah, you do. You hide in your room
yeah,
usually.
that's another matter. Um, I just get overwhelmed very easily. But yeah, I mean, what you should think about is doing some getting together with Billy at Accessory TO this year
Yeah.
because as I said to Billy, like I enjoy Accessory TO, I enjoyed it last year, but I just felt it was a bit lackluster. Needs some
Yeah.
needs some oomph. Um,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like anything. You have good years and bad years. But I also think that there was a combination of the new venue, which
Yeah.
which which was a good venue, but I don't. There's not really the spaces there to sort of hang out. So it
Right.
feels like you're in a corridor the whole time. But
Right.
anyway, but I'm sure that I mean I desire to go to XSUTO in October this year, and hopefully I will. I've stopped. I, I was haranguing Bill. I even put a uh, presentation. idea in, but they didn't like it. But so
Really?
I'm not going to bother with that. I mean, I don't like most of my own ideas anyway. So, uh, but yeah, Billy's a yeah, Billy's a mountain. Who is the person next to Billy?
Lucy Greco.
Yeah. And Lucy Greco is someone another person I've known for years. I've known everybody for years. That's the problem. It's just getting old. I'm getting old.
You
And
are.
Lucy, where does she work currently? I can't.
Well, so wasn't she? I think she retired.
Did
Um,
she?
I
Pardon
think
me.
so, but she was at UC Berkeley for a while.
Yes, that's right. She does some. I've got to catch up with her because I'd like to interview her because she does some videos for about consumer products like home and
Yes.
things, which sounds very useful. Uh, yeah, she's just an interesting person who I like. And next to her,
Charlie Pike.
yeah, I knew you'd know. I hadn't put him on before because I don't think because Chuck. Well, did you know that Charlie is a published author?
I did not.
Yeah, he he's he published one book called Jacob's Ladder. I think it's still a young adult science fiction. And he's got a second book on the way.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. I've got yeah. I'll send you a pic of the. Well, I'll send you a link to the. I'll what I'll do is I'll put the link to the book in the article that I published with this, so then you and others can have a look. But Charlie, Charlie was again, he's one of the owners of TPG along with Mike and Debs, and he was an awesome boss and just a nice guy. I really like Charlie.
I like Charlie. Yeah, me, him, and Billy got quite inebriated in Dublin.
Oh,
Uh,
really? That's a
everybody had already
surprise.
everybody had already left when TPG had that thing
Yeah.
in Dublin. We stayed at the Castle Bar upstairs for a lot longer time than everybody else, and then we got a we were gonna walk to the hotel, and then we got one of those guys who's got the bikes, and we made that poor guy go halfway across Dublin. And I don't know if Charlie was as drunk as Billy and I were, but I was glad that I didn't have to walk that distance. That's for
Well,
sure.
Charlie always seems drunk, even when he's not. So he's always got that smile on his face. He's a happy-go-lucky sort of individual. Uh, and he's one of the people I do miss working with him. He's still at TPG. I don't know how, but he's managed to hang on.
He must
Um,
have some sort of special arrangement.
well, yeah, I just think that he's not on doesn't have a high enough profile within the organization to actually they just forget basically. Oh yeah. But talking of people that did work at TPG but no longer work there, do you know who the next person is?
James Edwards.
James Edwards, yes.
Yeah,
And James, yeah, I've got a lot of time for James because he knows his shit and
he
he
does.
shares his knowledge.
He
Um,
was he was my first hire at Tenon.
yeah,
When Tenon when Tenon's when I left TPG um to start Tenon full time, and I started get I Tenon was successful on accident. If anybody asked me about how we got successful, it was completely on accident because I had so much work as soon as I left.
yeah,
It was really bizarre, and I needed additional help. And James applied and joined on and stayed up until pretty much the very end, and was amazing at ensuring extremely high quality deliverables.
yeah,
And I mean, he was awesome. He was hands down between him and Marco, who was a developer of Tenon, two of the best people I feel like really, really helped curate an awesome company.
Well, yeah, James had a long history. I remember when I first started out in the early 2000s, and I was writing my first article, co-writing it with Jez to go on Juicy Studio. And Jez was saying, and I wasn't fully aware of James, but he was like around that same time, he was writing a lot of stuff about accessibility for Smashing Mag, I'd like to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and Jess was saying we've got to get this out before James well, Brother Cake, which is his
uh-huh.
before Brother Cake gloms onto it. Um, but no, yeah, fair play to James. He's a great guy and a great mind. And one of the sorry, I've got the windows in my office. I live in a what is known as a listed building, and which means that you can't make certain changes to it. One of the changes is it's got these things called crittle windows, which are very thin, and
Uh-huh.
the metal frames. That's what they are. But I've got these huge windows, and so you can when cars go past my window, even though I'm 2 floors up, it sounds like I'm sitting on the road. Um, anyway,
Now you're very quiet, by the way.
am I?
Yeah.
Let me turn up. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, thanks for telling me. Um, Pat was telling me because I got this new microphone and he was saying he was got me confused about whether I should be speaking the top of it or speaking the side of it. I have no idea. I just speak. Okay, bottom left.
Johnny James.
Johnny James. Johnny, yeah, is long-term um, friend and compadre at TPG, still working there, lives in Canada. Um, love Johnny. What can I say?
Yeah. Johnny is just amazing. Really, always an upbeat kind of guy. He's always extremely upbeat, and I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever, I don't think I've ever seen him mad or sad or anything. He's always.
yeah, he just rolls with the punches. I think that's why he does so well as a manager or whatever. I've just noticed that Billy's little dog is in the picture with Billy. But anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and sadly, I don't get to see Johnny as much as I'd like because obviously he's in Canada and I'm not. So,
I'm
but
so surprised that you guys never stole him.
what you mean,
It's
tetralogical?
tetralogical,
Well,
yeah.
we don't steal anybody, but we only employ people that have the right to live and work in the UK,
Okay.
and that's not a a sort of decision that we may. It's just purely the logistics of employing people and costs, etc. We're only a tiny little company, and we pay very well, but the additional costs of healthcare and etc. just make it unviable.
Right. Gotcha.
Also, yeah, we haven't. We've got this. What was I saying? We have this idea that we're only going to be certain size, um, and we're nearing that size now. So we don't want to continually expand, and become a behemoth because you lose. I think you lose the lot of the things that made being a small company a good thing. Um, but anyway. But yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'd love to be able to work with Johnny again, just not at 2PG. Uh,
Yeah.
now we've got a double wide here with two people.
Glenda Sims and John Metz.
Yes, like I hadn't seen the Mets for like I remember that. Well, he worked with TPG with us for a while. You definitely were
Yeah.
in Brighton, and he was in Brighton.
Yeah.
along with Zoe, along with Michelle Beale, or
Yeah.
Zoe's as his Michelle's his dead name. But yes, and I hadn't seen him for like, well, I hadn't seen him since then, which was like 2016. And then he turned up at CSUN. I think it was last year or the year before. He is always the same, much the same as he's always been. And I've always got time to chat with Glenda as well. She's full of interesting insights
Yeah.
into stuff. Plus she wears a good plushie, um, which they seem to do at CSUN for some reason. Uh, but have you got any interesting insights into either of those people?
Well, Glenda, she's been around a really, really long time. She's always bubbly and happy and all that and all that sort of stuff. Um, I love her. She's pretty awesome. John, like him, like you, I haven't seen him in a long time. Um, he I don't remember the circumstances, but he made dinner at my house one time. He used to I don't know where he lives now, but he used to live like not too far away.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
he lived in Virginia or something like that at the time. Came over to my house, hung out, met the family, all that sort of stuff. Made us dinner. Really, really nice guy. Um,
Yeah, he's a nice guy for a
P-
libertarian. He's a great guy.
PDF nerd.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I did the last time he and I took a road trip to a record store when we were at CSUN last, which was quite fun. I didn't end up buying anything, but he got a couple of records for his wife, I think. Uh,
Okay.
Next person,
Natalie Tucker.
Natalie Patrice Tucker. Yeah, I had a fireside chat with her last week. I'm still post processing, but that was yeah. You can.
I've only interacted with her socially.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I've only interacted with her socially. The last time was at CSUN in San Diego, so it was like 10 years ago or more. But it
yeah.
it had quite an impression on me. I don't know if you remember this guy, a guy called Jason Kiss.
Yes.
Yes, so he was active and at the time, and he was at CSUN. He was representing. He was the
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, New Zealand government. And that's when I met up with. This was in San Diego. I met up
Yeah.
with Natalie and uh, another guy called Tom Babitsky or something. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
socially, we were just. I'll tell you another person that which I hadn't seen for years, but I saw. I think last year was what's his name is. He's got red hair. William Lawrence.
Yes. Yeah, William
Yeah,
Lawrence.
I hadn't seen. I thought he just dropped off the earth, but then he appeared at CSUN. It was really nice to
Yeah.
see. Um, I mean, that's why I like going to these because I just see people that I like and that I want to talk to. And last but not least, do you know?
I'm gonna feel terrible for this, but I forget this dude's name. Uh,
Well,
it's
I call him Beltop, but his name is Brian Elton.
yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's Canadian. He is I think he still is the representative for TPG at W3C. He took over from me, and he does stuff. He's a nice guy. I always
He
catch up.
is. I mean, every time I know I've interacted with him at ALMYTO, but I'm not sure about CSUN or not. But always great when I see him. Uh, super, super nice guy.
Right. Yeah, he is. He is. So yeah, so that is the Rose Gallery. So you did pretty well, Carl. But I mean, you're long in the tooth and you've got long memories. So well, not as long in the tooth as I, but you're there. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Are you going to come back, or are you just going to
Oh,
shut
my
it?
damn camera does that all the time. For some reason, my camera just automatically decides on its own that it doesn't want to.
That's absolutely fine. So I just got a few more questions for you, just just stuff. So as far as 10 on's concerned, what has happened to it? It's just gone.
Gone, gone.
So what
Yeah.
did they do? I mean, they bought it and then they threw it away.
Yes.
Oh well,
I,
well,
I have a legal, I have a non-disparagement agreement with them, so I can't say anything
that's
bad.
fine. I don't want you to say anything bad. I just was just wondering what had happened to it.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a plan. I can say this because it's not disparaging. There was a plan as when they first bought Tenon, Tim Springer wanted to sort of take on DQ head to head
yep,
on the developer tooling side of things. And then not long after that, there was the acquisition, or I'm sorry, not acquisition, the merger with Essential Accessibility, and the big private equity partners had decided that they wanted a different strategy moving forward, and so pretty much everything relating to tenon type stuff, developer tooling type stuff was put on the back burner.
and how
And
did you
then,
feel about that?
I was really disappointed because, one of the things, like, so tenon was the first that did all the developer stuff. You don't talk about shift left in accessibility and not talk about tenon. DQ did an amazing job of sort of flanking us because they had more money, right? They had way more money than Tenon had, and they did a great job of like the developer ecosystem stuff and all that sort of thing. But when it comes to like who had a who had a node module first, Tenon. Who had a command line interface first, Tenon. Who could work with Selenium first, Tenon. Grunt, Tenon. Gulp, Tenon. WordPress, Tenon. Tenon did all that stuff first, and then through a lack of money and marketing power, DQ, flanked us. So the amazing thing with what I had hoped was going to happen with level access was those resources were going to come to
Yeah,
going. And so because I still very strongly believe in putting testing in the hands of developers. You
yeah.
know, Um, I think that's how you avoid problems. And, really, in a lot of cases, as an accessibility consultant, our job, we're really problem merchants, right? We get
Yeah.
paid to tell people about their problems, and I would still rather help people avoid them. So when that didn't happen at Level Access, I was pretty disappointed, you know. I was hoping for being able to continue to make the impact that I had with the additional resources of a company like Level Access. And
But how are they going in general? I mean, I have no idea.
I don't either. That was a very different environment and different just different situation in general anyway. But then after the private equity thing and all that sort of stuff, I was too much in the dark in terms of overall strategy and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff than in order to be able to comment on that. I mean, they're the biggest company, the biggest accessibility company out there.
Are they?
Um,
Oh, yeah, in terms of sales or revenue, you mean?
all of the above, pretty much
Yeah.
every metric you can think of, head count, sales, annual revenue, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Total
I
number
have
of
no
customers.
idea.
Um, but so, and they had some rounds of layoffs or something like that, after the essential merger and things like that that are kind of you would expect at that size. You
Yeah,
get two companies together,
yeah.
you start realizing we have redundancies, or we don't have we're not able to keep everybody busy, whatever the case may be when you start doing that. But then they seem to have survived beyond that relatively unscathed, whereas both TPGI and DQ have had some relatively recent rounds of layoffs that
I wasn't aware of. Maybe I was at DQ, but I didn't know. I don't know anybody um that was laid off from there. Maybe I just
yeah,
don't
they
know.
had a good number of, I think within the last year or so, something like that. They had a good number. Maybe I'm compressing things. Maybe it was more than a year ago, but they had a pretty big round of layoffs.
Yeah, it's never. It's always horrible. I mean, I've led a charmed life because I've never been laid off, and I've never, I've just stepped from one job to another,
Right.
which is always got. Now I'm sort of in my permanent home until I
So you
die,
retire.
retire. Yeah, whichever comes first. I mean, probably death. I think I'll just work. I'll keep on working, But I mean, I'm a part owner of a company, so I mean that's a
Yeah.
different situation. But at least yeah, I don't have to worry about losing my job, which is something. Well,
Yes.
I have to worry less. Talking of a job, so what are you doing? Like, I know that you're doing Fix It and also Eventably.
It's a fixed.
A
A
fixed.
F A F I X.
Yeah, A
Yeah.
fixed. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Eventably is correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell
Yeah.
us, tell us a little bit about both.
So talk about Eventably first. Eventably is like a events management platform, a lot like an Eventbrite or a Cvent or something like that. Um, that's not going as well as I had hoped it would go.
Why?
I'll say it's a marketing problem. We did not do enough marketing. We haven't done enough marketing. We're still not doing enough marketing. The product is done. It's awesome. There are still some things I'd like to add to it. I mean, obviously, there's always like things you'd like to add to a
And
product, but
is it a subscription model or is it?
no, we charge per ticket. So let's say you put on an event, for every ticket you sell, we get a
Gotcha.
piece of it.
Gotcha.
So, but it's awesome though. I am glad to have created something that creates a truly accessible alternative to platforms that are often very much not accessible. Um,
You
so that's
seemed, I got the feeling that you were a bit disappointed in the level of support that you got from the accessibility community on,
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, because for years, people have talked about, for instance, how inaccessible Cvent is, which is what CSUN uses,
Oh,
or
yeah.
other things. I mean, you go to any conference and you hear people with disabilities talking about how buying the ticket sucked, or whatever. And so I'm like, well, then I'll make it accessible. You know what I mean? Like, if these other companies aren't going to give a shit, then I'll do it. And then, like you say, I don't get the level of support from the community that I'd hoped for, and that's kind of a bummer. But you know, whatever.
So, do you have any customers that are using it currently?
Uh-huh. Yeah, a couple small events here and there are using it right now. Nothing, like I said, nothing to the amount of volume that I had sort of hoped for. But that's, I don't have any investors. I don't have any marketing money. I don't have, so that's kind of,
I'll have
you
to
do
have a
it.
look at it. To be honest, I've never looked at
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I'll have to have a look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just got that you had a certain level of frustration about the
Yeah.
lack of good vibes happening.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, it's difficult, Carl, because you're such a, you're a cunt basically, which you're a great guy, but it's no, sorry. I just had to get the word in there
That
because,
could be it, man. It
huh?
could be. I don't know. That could be
No,
it.
no, I don't think so. I think it's just, yeah, getting getting the commercial potential for things to happen. Talking about commercial potential, I'll ask your experience. Do you have any experience of native accessory testing software? There's lots of automation software out there. Have you tried any yourself, like a Vince that does it? DQ does it. My
For
friend,
native stuff, like what do you
yeah,
mean? Native
like
mobile,
native,
native desktop?
yeah, native mobile, as you know, like iOS and
I haven't. I have not done that yet. I mean, I've done the testing
yeah,
myself, but
but you
in terms
haven't
of
used
software
it.
that does it, no. I mean, I've always used like the Xcode thing
Yeah,
for
yeah,
stuff, anything that's, sort of post compiled. No.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. Yeah, no, no. It's just I've been in conversation with people at Abra. I don't know if you know Abra.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean because the resources they provide are really top notch. I really like them, and also I know Jean Jacques, somebody
Big
who's
root.
yes, who's part of the mobile accessory task force and working on the WCAG to ICT stuff. So he knows his stuff, but
Extremely knowledgeable guy. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit too
Yeah.
knowledgeable for
Yeah.
I just like him a little bit because of that. It's probably why I just like you, is because you're too knowledgeable.
But so like about Afix, we started um so when I left Level Access there was a lot of discussion around competing with them, right? And of course my agreement with them was I have a when they bought Tenon I have a pretty extensive non-compete,
Yeah.
worldwide non-compete, all that sort of stuff, which is over in September.
Ooh.
But when I left, I said, there's a big problem in the accessibility industry in general, and I sort of alluded to that before, which is that we are problem merchants. Somebody pays you to do an audit, all you're giving them is a big list of problems. Congratulations, everything's fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
well, to an extent, because we don't, we provide both problem and solution for
sure,
every
yeah,
problem.
but even yes, you guys do, a lot of other people do, but it's still problems. Like here's your shit, and it's all messed up, and we're sorry. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to be the person to fix it, right? Um, and it was sort of started when I worked at TPG back in the day, where we had a customer at TPG, a furniture store that had gotten sued for accessibility, and they had like 12 months to fix it, and
Right.
and then they didn't, and then all of a sudden, like month 11 comes, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got all this stuff we haven't fixed." And so TPG sent me down there, and me and the guy who was basically in charge of the website, we went into their conference room. We set up two computers, mine and his, and we banged out code and for a week, and we fixed everything. Everything that was in TPG's audit, we fixed it. And I left that, even then I left that going, man, I would love to do this. Like I would love to just do that, you
Mm.
know, just take a audit and bang through everything, and then be at the end of it and being, we're done. We fixed all this stuff. Because as well as I do, and anybody watching this knows that if you deliver that audit to the customer and then they later come to you and want to re-audit, 90% of that same stuff is still there
Yeah.
because they don't know how to do it. And because that's why we exist, right? They don't know how to
Yeah.
do it. They have other competing priorities, which is fine. They have other business things. They have other stuff going. You know what I mean? And so that's why when I launched Afixed, I was like, I just want to fix people's stuff. Um, and it's been awesome. I mean, there's a couple of unfortunate sides to it, but it's been really, really fun. I mean, we have taken dozens of customers' websites, and we do testing anyway. One of the early mistakes I made was assuming that we didn't need to test. Like
Right.
Egotistically, I was like, nah, fuck it, we'll just fix it all ourselves. We just get in there and start fixing. We do have to test, but then we get that list of test results, and then we just bang through it, and the next thing you know, they leave and they're done. Like that website is fixed. Um,
Until they make changes to it. Yeah.
and that's the problem, right? Is I try to tell the customer, look, this is a snapshot. It's only going to be when we're done, and if you don't maintain it, you're going to have the problems again, you know? And so that's kind of where we are right now. We've had some discussions internally about how to make sure they do maintain it, how to make sure that that we keep up on it, that they, you know, but too many of them still continue to treat it as a one and done thing
Well, yeah, one, yeah. I
because
mean,
it's always because of a lawsuit. You know,
yeah,
that's the problem is it's always because of a lawsuit, and they just want the lawsuit to go away.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like all you've done is made this lawsuit go away.
Hey, so something totally different, but your sleeve, is that new, that tattoo?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, new-ish, I guess. So I had the previous one.
I just, yeah, I remember it being, yeah.
I had it lasered off. I had that
Yes,
whole thing lasered off. And well, not completely, but probably about 90% of it lasered off, other than some dark spots here and there, and then redid it.
it looks good.
You got to see it. It's beautiful. Hopefully. I'm gonna be the first person who strips on your thing.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, man.
oh, yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. What style is that?
It's Japanese Irizumi.
Ah, you
It's
know,
all traditional
you
Japanese.
know, what's his name? Dave O'Neill from TPG, the guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's got a full bodysuit.
He's got a full bodysuit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if it's finished yet. I imagine it is, but I think he started it when he was 50 or something, but he had some, Japanese uh, tattoo maestro, and he'd been working with him for years. And
That's
so, yeah,
awesome.
I mean, I saw a picture of his ass at one point. I didn't see that again, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's got tattoos. His whole
I've
body.
been thinking about doing the back piece for that,
Oh, really?
which does so it goes from your back all the way past your butt.
Yeah,
Even then, like even if you don't do the bodysuit, you still for some reason do the butt. So
yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. I myself don't have tattoos. I um I like watching Ink Master though. That's
Oh
as
yeah.
close as I got.
Yeah.
But both my daughters want to talk about getting tattoos. Well, my younger is too young. Uh,
Right.
she'll be 17 soon. But my older daughter, when she turned 18, she was gonna get tattoos. But she's 20. She'll be 22 in November. She still hasn't got any
Still
tattoos.
hasn't gotten one. Yeah, that's
But I'll tell you what she is really enjoying is darts.
oh
I
yeah.
went up to Birmingham over over Christmas to visit family, and I took my daughters with me and my daughter's girlfriend, and we were at the hotel. We were watching darts on the telly, like sort of world champion or something, or champion. And ever since then, she's been well into it. She's got a whole setup in a
Oh
room there.
yeah.
Yeah, with the lights and the mat and all that sort of thing. But anyway,
That's
uh,
good. It's cheaper than tattoos.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say no. Like, even though I don't desire to have a tattoo myself, and I think you've got to think very carefully when you get one. Um, I would, say no. My younger daughter loves piercing. She's got loads of piercings now. Um, so, I mean, I had a couple of piercings when I was a young chap, but that was in the past. Any last words, Carl?
I really enjoyed this.
Good.
I was a little jealous you hadn't asked me earlier, so
Well,
Yeah.
I always intended to ask you, but it's just that that luckily enough, I know a lot of people that are interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting people in accessibility.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Um, so it looks like I look like a bobblehead on here now. Without,
Yeah,
it's just
you do. You gotta
yeah, it's the effect of the background. Anyway, Carl, thank you very much,
thank you.
and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Well, you should go to the one in Würzburg too.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but when is it? In what month is it in?
May. Yeah.
May, yeah. So because May we've got Tetralogical Week, which is because we're a remote company, we're all meeting in York for a couple of days. And then the week after, I'm going to Utrecht. I'm
Okay.
talking about the YKEM. I'm doing a presentation on that, which is, you may know, this document about the,
Yeah.
web content evaluation methodology we've been working on with. I've got to ask you about that before I leave. Before I've been working on that with Hidi DeVries and a guy called Jean somebody. I can't remember his second name. No, his name's not Jean. It's Jean or something. Like, I'm just hopeless with names. Jerome, his name is. But they both work for the Dutch government.
Okay.
And they apparently they made use of the WCAG EM 1.0. So I'm just glad. What the aim of the work was to just bring it into the fucking present day and the reality of it being used for more than websites. WCAG being
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully we've achieved that. But I have a look. It's out for first public working draft out for wide review. Get your eyes on there and give us some feedback. We appreciate it. Um,
Okay. I will.
what I was going to ask you about is the nervous cough. Are you aware that you've got this sort of
It's not nervous.
isn't
No.
it? What is it?
Cough variant asthma.
Oh, really? Because
So,
it's always like Carl Groves is speaking when he's
yeah. So basically, I just have a subtle type of asthma where, my windpipe starts closing and I can go and open it up, or I have to full on cough.
gotcha.
But it's weird because inhalers don't really seem to work, or at least the ones that they give me don't really seem to work. It's just, and then I'm done.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's just something,
I've had it since I was a kid.
Yeah, well, I know. I always remember. I also remember when I first, what was it? First time I met you? I don't know, but it was very early on. It was in San Diego at CSUN, and you were showing me your tattoos, and I thought that you were a bloody white supremacist.
Because that's what tattoos mean.
Well, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, until you started to explain to me the various meanings of the tattoos and nails, but yeah,
Yeah.
you just look like a because you do have
I
quite
had
a
my head shaved back then too.
yeah, you do have you quite a fierce look about you at times. I mean, I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to meet you on a dark street or something like that. A formidable character, but you're a formidable character, formidable accessibility practitioner. Appreciate everything you do, Carl. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you.
And yeah, good luck. I'll as I said, I'll start clouting out stuff for about Eventually. Hopefully it'll help.
Damn
Okay,
camera.
Carl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Talk
right.
to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.